Hello again everybody and welcome back to Fujit's Blitz. Now this is a completely different type of video. We're not talking about the map, we're not talking about gameplay, so ignore what's on the screen. It's just there to make things look pretty and give you something to look at. We're talking about something completely different. A few people have approached me recently with regard to things happening with community contributors, aka CCs, and wargaming. Now initially I had no clue what anybody was actually going on about, so I had to do a little bit of digging. Basically there's been, well, for want of a better word, a mass exodus of CCs from World of Warships, a game that is also owned by Wargaming. Now before we go into any of the details, World of Warships and World of Tanks Blitz are not the same entities as such. World of Tanks Blitz is run by a completely different team of people, and they're actually based in a completely different country. Yes, they are part of the same business empire, namely Wargaming, which is the overall parent company, and it has many other game titles under its belt, about 8 actually. Now the main titles of World of Wargaming are World of Tanks PC, World of Tanks Blitz, and World of Warships, all of which are handled by different subsidiaries under the overall banner of Wargaming. So what exactly has been going on? Well, from what I can tell, after listening carefully to the mighty Jingles, there are a few issues that he feels contributed to his departure, along with a great many other of World of Warship CCs. Now, obviously the mighty Jingles' views are personal to him, and it would be wrong of me to speculate on what anyone does or why they do that thing for whatever reason. There are always issues, to be honest with you, whereby CCs feel that they should have more impact on the game, which isn't really the case. Not really. After all, the CCs are there to try and be a bridge between the player base and the company. That's not to say that we CCs, especially in World of Tanks Blitz, don't have any influence at all, because that's simply not true. But we have only limited influence over certain things, and certainly we have no influence over the overall business decisions and business strategies that the company may wish to take. Now a case in point on this is the issue regarding ATGMs. Yes, the player base knew they were bad for the game, and the CCs, most vocally Mr. Rolling Swarm, believed that the CCs should have a say in such things. The business side, however, saw the raw data and saw that these tanks were being played a lot. In fact, a lot more than any other tank was being played at the time. And as such, they really couldn't see the wood for the trees, because if the tanks are being played, then clearly they are liked, not disliked. What's your problem? This led to Rolling eventually leaving the CC program, feeling that his voice wasn't being heard, and as such saw no benefit in being in the program itself. Sentiments that the mighty Jingles has recently echoed. Now the reason for Rolling leaving is pretty much the same as that for mighty Jingles. I mean, it's personal to them, it's their choice, their decision, and nobody can sort of query them on that. You know, they have to make their own decisions, guys. However, in fairness, it's no surprise, at least not to me, that the CCs are not invited to change the company's business direction. Well, why would they? But we are there in order to try to offer feedback to the company, what does and what doesn't work within the gaming community as a whole. It's then up to the company to take this on board, and sometimes they consider such things and make changes, other times they do not. Yeah, the ATGM issue took a long time to finally resolve, but resolved it was after they finally reached out fully to the player base and eventually saw the disconnect between the feelings of the players and the actual raw data. Yes, players were playing them lots, but that's because they were so toxic. I mean, it took time, and along the way we lost a very valued CC. But the matter did eventually get sorted. Such things realistically are not new to any CC program, to an extent, but it seems that this wasn't the catalyst for the exodus in World of Warships. Now from what I can tell, is that the straw that eventually broke the camel's back was something that happened with another World of Warship CC, somebody called Little White Mouse. I personally don't know Little White Mouse, but I do know that she has a very solid reputation and that she puts a shed load of work in as a CC. She was very valued by all accounts, and she was invited to design a ship for World of Warships, which took her over a year to do. When they eventually released the ship, however, it bore no resemblance whatsoever to what she had actually done, which understandably upset her. World of Warships, however, decided to play the aggressive response and totally disregarded her input and then put her down. Again, this is hearsay from what some could term a disgruntled CC, who, however, despite not knowing the person, I trust him because I see no reason for them to be untruthful in this situation. Now, World of Warships' response has led to quite a big backlash, understandably so, and they have eventually had to backtrack somewhat, but it appears their backtracking also backfired massively, leading to her leaving the CC program, followed by quite a few others in support. Now, these things happen all the time, and if it was a standalone, you could understand it, but it wasn't, because running in parallel at the same time, there was another major issue brewing over a Tier 9 premium ship, the USS Missouri. Now, this ship has a massive status symbol in the US. Not only was it one of their most impressive World War II battleships that even saw action in the 1991 Gulf War, but it's also the ship that hosted the Japanese surrender in World War II. Therefore, this is a really big deal ship-wise, especially to those who are interested in history, of which a lot of the players are across all the games, and those especially from the NA server and the US itself. Apparently, when this ship was initially released, World of Warships made a huge blunder whereby they totally screwed up on its credit coefficiency. And it was basically almost a free tank. Okay, you had to drop some gold, but effectively it was a free tank. They then decided that they were going to remove the ship from the game, but then they put it back without the credit multiplier, and they promised that those who already had the ship will get a special mission to ensure it keeps its previous credit-making abilities. Unfortunately, this never seemed to be the case, which upset a fair few players, of course. Nevertheless, it's what World of Warships then did that annoyed quite a few people. They actually re-released the ship in loot boxes. Now, loot boxes, or crates as we know them, is a gaming practice that many of us, including me, can't actually stand and think should be removed, because they have the ability for players, especially younger players, to keep dropping cash until they get that prize. When these first came out in World of Tanks Blitz, players could spend stupid amount of real life money on getting a tank, and eventually, and quite rightly, World of Tanks Blitz introduced charms, which limits the amount you would actually spend in order to guarantee the actual main prize. Now, in most cases, this still amounts to around $120, quite a tidy sum indeed for a pixelated tank. But at least now we have an understanding of how much a tank will actually cost us in order for it to be guaranteed to be in our garage. That's not to say I like crates or loot boxes, but the revenue and business point of view, they're a massive earner, and most gaming companies use these things in order to generate revenue. So loot boxes and crates won't go away anytime soon. Don't kid yourself on this. Well, not unless laws are passed making them illegal. So they will continue to be in the game. Thankfully, as I said, World of Tanks Blitz did the decent thing and introduced charms, thereby limiting your expenditure. Does that go far enough? Well, I don't think it does, because 25 charms is a tad too much, I feel. But at least now we have an advance notice of how much we can expect to spend, and as such we are therefore able to choose to take our chances or not. We're not forced to buy these crates, but we are tempted, and when the game attracts quite a lot of children, I feel that charm should be reduced realistically. Now, I'm not opposed to World of Tanks Blitz earning a revenue, far from it in fact, but I don't think any pixelated tank in real terms is worth $120, but that's just my opinion. As a CC myself, I know full well that my views on things such as crates is kind of irrelevant, to be honest. Crates are a business decision, not a player issue, And as such, and as I said previously, we CCs are not there to have input into actual business direction. We can advise the views of the player base, we can give our views, but it would be naive of us to think that we have any influence whatsoever on how World of Tanks Blitz runs its actual business. That's not the aim or the purpose of the CC program, at least not that I know of. We are there to try and influence the actual gaming experience, and as such, and yes, I understand the ATGM issue and update 5.5 related to gaming experience in real terms, we do that by way of feeding back to World of Tanks Blitz the player concerns. Now, it seems that World of Warships loot boxes is handled somewhat differently to that of World of Tanks Blitz, and as such, some of the CCs over there are really unhappy, and along with the other parts of the CC program that they're not happy with, as I mentioned above, but that's only one of a vast majority of issues they have, they've decided to leave. But what does all this have to do with World of Tanks Blitz, I hear you say? Well, nothing really. World of Tanks Blitz and World of Warships are not the same. They're truly not. They're not the same teams, they're not the same business model, and they're not the same staffing or even in the same country. Whilst many may see the CC program World of Tanks Blitz and World of Warships to be similar, well, I can tell you they're not. We have some very active interaction with World of Tanks Blitz staff who are involved in the CC program, and we CCs do in fact have an impact in some areas of the game. I mean, for example, Abionet does so much behind the scenes regarding server issues, player issues, almost all of which is unseen by the player base. And she does, on occasion, get a lot of results. Meadsy is also very active and very influential, what with proposing promotions to new Y tiers, mentor programs, and stuff like that. You've also got the likes of Irma Bex and Hassamat. They're also very active, they interact a lot with World of Tanks Blitz. Now, every good name is taken, His Royal Fatness and myself. We are recent introductions to the CC program, but we also do a lot behind the scenes. Not just about the game, we also talk about tournaments and try to make a huge impact on that. And we have quite a lot of positive interaction with the staff at World of Tanks Blitz. I know I make it sound all sweetness and light, and yeah, it's not perfect. But at least World of Tanks Blitz, I think, do try to value their CCs. And it does its best to make them feel valued. That doesn't mean to say that everything we put forward, they're just going to roll over and say, yeah, you're great, that's a great idea. That's never going to be happening in real life, guys. But we can have grown-up, professional, influential conversations with them. So yes, whilst there are issues in drama and World of Warships, that doesn't mean that World of Tanks Blitz is either effective or will go the same way. All I can tell you, as a World of Tanks Blitz CC myself, is that the relationship between the CCs and World of Tanks Blitz staff is rather quite healthy. Yes, it could be better, but then everything could be. But from what I have heard about World of Warships, World of Tanks Blitz is already in a better place, and I currently don't see it changing other than for the better going forward. Anyway, like I said, I've been asked about this by quite a few people, and I have to say to all of you, I personally am not involved in either World of Warships or its CC program. The issues coming to light with World of Warships does not involve World of Tanks Blitz, and it certainly doesn't involve any of the CCs who are CCs in World of Tanks Blitz. Now, I'm not able to comment, nor will I comment fully or give any opinion on the issues that the CCs in World of Warships are facing. That would be wrong of me to do so. All I can do is share with you the insights into World of Tanks Blitz and its CC program, which is what I've done, nothing more. As I said, don't get me wrong, it's not a perfect program. Far, far from it. But it's a lot better than what I can hear from World of Warships. At least we're able to interact with the staff at World of Tanks Blitz. At least we are able to share our views and our opinions. And at least we are listened to. That doesn't mean to say everything we say gets implemented or acted upon, because 9 times out of 10 it won't be, because it will be against their business model or strategy, which is understandable. Anyway, I just wanted to give you that quick clarification. by all means comment in everything below, because I'd be interested to hear what you all have to say. But I can assure you, everything at the moment with World of Tanks Blitz and its CCs seems to be going pretty well. So keep your feedback coming in, guys. Anyway, until the next time, stay safe out there, have fun on the battlefield, and happy tanking, because that is what it's all about, having fun and being happy.